My name is Dr. Michelle Morton, and I teach 8th grade English, every 8th grader that comes to CAD. So Soapbox Challenge is part of a larger organization called Mikva, which is focused on civics and kids having actionable, being able to make some changes. And it started in Chicago in the inner cities. And it's just all about getting kids to care about things and then speak about them and feel empowered. I came across it, I guess, last year, and Holly Golder and I started looking into it online. And then this year we went to a training at University of Pennsylvania with the Mikva Challenge people, and specifically about Soapbox. And the nice part is it's short, it's a 2-minute speech. The kids, everybody can talk for 2 minutes about something. They can choose whatever topic they want that they feel strongly about, and it's something that has a call to action. So in every speech, the kids will tell you, this is what I want you to do. And I think that's really empowering for an 8th grader to feel heard. So that's why we did it.
Hi, I'm Ivy Hoffman, and I'm in 8th grade. So my speech is about the magic of reading. So I read a statistic somewhere that most adults, like 75 or something like that, adults haven't read any piece of writing in a past year. And that was really alarming to me because I love to read. And so, yeah, in my speech I'm talking about like how children need to have that wonderful feeling of just being able to escape.
A book is a wonderful piece of magic. It can transport you to another world. It can give you a glimpse into the life of another person. It teaches you empathy. For children, reading is vital. And children from low-income families need books the most. They need that escape, that hope for a better future. However, it seems that these children are our lowest priority when it comes to reading. Over 8.7 million low-income students are not proficient in reading. These are the kids who are going to make up the future of our nation, and it is imperative that we give them the resources they need and deserve. What's more, libraries are not getting the funding that they need. In 2013, only 0.06% of Delaware's state budget was put towards libraries. How can we grow and improve if we are taking something as magical as libraries for granted? Now, some people still may not believe that this is a problem. Books are disappearing to make way for a new era, the era of technology. And yes, technology is a wonderful thing, but studies show that children growing up in homes with books average 3 years more schooling than children growing up in homes without books. That's regardless of their parents' schooling, occupation, and class. This shows how magical it is to even just have books in your home. In addition to this, a study done by the Reading Agency shows that reading can reduce anxiety and stress, increase self-esteem, and even reduce symptoms of depression. It's magic. So, now that you know the problem, here's what I need you to do. Support organizations such as Reading is Fundamental or Room to Read by donating or volunteering. But most importantly, read. By reading to the children in your life and encouraging them to read, we can move towards a stronger, better tomorrow.
Hi, I'm Pragya Singh and I'm in 8th grade. My topic for my speech is about raising awareness for teens who are suffering depression. And I chose this topic because a lot of people don't fully grasp onto the topic about what is depression, and they're not able to fit their shoes into that. And my speech allows people to gain a new perspective and not only listen about it, but to advise other people too.
Here we stand. We have all struggled and hurt sometimes. All of us are trying to achieve an illusion of constant perfection, or are seeking true happiness. We try to find happiness in many forms, not knowing that happiness isn't an object to obtain or a pill to take. Happiness is a cure and can be its own medicine. However, our society remains to stand blind and deaf to the desperate cries of help we hear from depressed teens. 20%. Over 20% of our teens are suffering from depression. Half of them continue to hide their emotions and feelings, thinking happiness is not deserved to them, and put on a mask of a fake smile. Where behind it, they're thinking of all the dark days, sorrowful nights, and the hurtful things they say or do to themselves. Every 100 minutes that pass by, one of these teens decides to kill themselves. As the minute they share their emotions, all they hear is, ignore it, it will go away. It is treated as if it were a small paper cut on a child's finger, except this cut, it's deeper. It's a cut in the heart. As teenagers, our emotions are entirely blamed on hormones and immaturity, as if anxiety attacks come from a lack of calcium or depression is just a one-day thing. All it takes is one word. One word. Each and every one we say may seem powerless, but as once famously quoted by Gandhi, in a gentle way, you can change the world. If we unite and step up to the ignorance being put against the unheard teens who are suffering from these mental illnesses, we can continue our responsibility to promote positive awareness about the truth of mental health. We can make those dark days into joyful ones, those sorrowful nights into beautiful ones, and help our teens find true happiness. It all starts with one word, one action to make a difference. Just smile, grab one's hand, guide them to happier days, and remind them that they are not alone. Thank you.
My name is Jeremiah Rabin and I'm in the 8th grade. The speech is about water pollution, and I chose this topic because many people don't understand the real size and scope of this problem, and I'm hoping that my speech will encourage people to take action against this global crisis.
In the north-central Pacific Ocean, halfway between Hawaii and California, lies a massive block of litter, with estimates of its size ranging from around the size of Texas to around the size of Russia. It is filled with all kinds of trash, from plastic straws and plastic bags to chemical sludge. This is a Great Pacific Garbage Patch, and is a major threat, not only to the surrounding ecosystems, but also to the many humans that live in close proximity to the patch. A large amount of aquatic animals in the area have plastics in their digestive systems, and when these animals are eaten by humans, they can cause very malignant effects. In turn, this hurts the industries and businesses that depend on this seafood and other marine products. The North Pacific Ocean is a microcosm of the world's larger water pollution problem, which is a major burden on aquatic life, human health, and the economy. In May of last year, a seal pup was found dead in an island of Scotland. The culprit, a square piece of plastic in the animal's stomach. It is undoubtable that if it were not for water pollution, the baby seal would have survived. Water pollution is a massive threat to these ecosystems, but it does not only affect animals. More than 700 million people around the world do not have access to clean and unpolluted water. That is roughly 1 in 10 humans on the planet. While some would argue that the crisis of water pollution is endemic to developing nations and is not a point of concern in the United States, they are refuted by the EPA's National Rivers and Streams Assessment. The study, which gathered data from 1.2 million miles of rivers and streams, found that only a paltry 28% of American rivers are in good condition. Furthermore, the EPA also found that the tourism industry loses $1 billion every year as a result of complications related to water pollution. There are many assets and tools that we can use to combat this imminent issue, including legislation such as the Clean Water Act, modern sanitation systems, and alternatives to plastics. Despite these tools, however, we have still not gotten rid of the bane of water pollution. There are numerous more streams to be cleaned, there are numerous more garbage patches to be eliminated, and there are numerous more animals to be saved. If water pollution was eliminated, we would have a country and a world with far less disease, death, and dilapidation, and far more money, biological diversity, and salubrity. I urge every one of you to use sanitation systems correctly, to follow rules and regulations related to the water, and to spread the word about this crisis. Together we can end the horrors of water pollution.
I'm Rosemary Campbell and I'm in 8th grade. My speech is about respect for autism, and I chose this topic because I'm constantly hearing jokes towards or about autistic people, and I find it disrespectful due to the fact that both of my brothers are autistic and one of my best friends is as well.
Autism can't define me. I define autism. This is a quote from Carrie Margot, and she's autistic. Autism is a serious thing, something that is a part of many families, including my own. Sadly, even though this is a serious thing, people make awful jokes about it. Even people in my grade have made autistic jokes. Yes, I understand that it is a joke, but it's not a funny one. I'm the youngest of 3 kids. I have 2 older brothers, both who are autistic. My second oldest brother has level 2 autism. You can identify his struggle with communication, but he can complete several skills like you and me. People call other people autistic as another way of calling them stupid or weird. But they aren't. They just need a little bit of extra help to learn and comprehend things like math and other people's emotions. Can you imagine us, as civilized human beings, learning manners that some adults don't even have about respecting someone no matter what? Next time you see someone at your school with special needs that needs your help, don't just help them and move on. No, but that you check up on them during lunch or something and become friends with them. And if you hear someone making a joke about autism or making fun of someone with autism, call them out and tell them how that's not okay. Because someone with autism might need your help, but you might also need theirs.
I'm Saki Grayball and I'm in 8th grade. My speech is about global warming and its effects. And I chose this topic because I remember when we were in science class, we had just started our new weather unit. And my science teacher was describing the devastating effects of global warming on our society. And I was aghast to hear this because even though I heard some things, I didn't realize how detrimental these effects are. And so I hope my speech can help others realize how to solve this problem. Since the beginning of time, humans had the gift of solving their problems. However, the darker side of mankind and industrialization has led to one problem that lingers and continues to grow. Today, I want to address society's greatest concern, global warming. Many people dismiss this topic immediately. The ice melted before, the same thing applies today, some say. Or, it's still snowing in the world, henceforth global warming is real. To correct your beliefs, scientists have conducted experiments on the effects of greenhouse gases for more than 2 decades. Certain gases that individuals have released in the Earth's atmosphere reflect the escaping heat, and this over a period of time has increased our average surface temperature. Henceforth, global warming is real and directly impacts the environment and us. Greenland lost an average of 286 billion tons of ice, while Antarctica lost about 127 billion tons of ice between 1993 and 2016. Global sea level rose to about 8 inches and the acidity in oceans increased by 30%. Global warming is not just affecting the environment, but us as well, especially children. As temperature rises, so do the level of death rates, incidence of illness, and emergency room visits. But my job today is to inform and convince you to help me spread awareness. Together, we can change the course of society. How? Stop wasting your food and water. Decreasing waste decreases carbon pollution. But most importantly, use your voice. Just as I spoke in front of you, you should do the same. And you don't need big stages, you can begin with your classroom. We humans have the greatest boon, to speak. I encourage all of you to stand up because you can change the world ideas and concepts. Bring peace to this environment. Bring back a greener world. Bring life back to life.
My name is Cadence Fedizanen and I am in 8th grade. My speech is about whitewashing in film, and I chose to do it on this because growing up, my father is Filipino, and growing up I realized there was like a very big absence of representation, and I noticed that this was because of whitewashing and it just didn't feel right.
The Ancient One in Doctor Strange, Tiger Lily in Pan and Maria in West Side Story. What do all these characters have in common? They've all been whitewashed in film. What is whitewashing? If you look in the dictionary, the first definition that'll come up is to paint a wall, room, or building with whitewash. Well, whitewashing has gained a new definition, which is a casting practice in which white actors are casted in roles scripted for non-white actors. People say this isn't a big problem, if even a problem at all. To put it simply, those people are wrong. Let's start off by talking about Tiger Lily in the 2015 film Pan. Tiger Lily is a very well-known character. She is the daughter of the chief of Neverland's tribe. Neverland's tribe is very clearly influenced by Native American culture, from their songs to their dance to their clothing. So you would think Tiger Lily would be played by a Native American actress, right? Wrong. Tiger Lily is played by Rooney Mara, a white actress. This caused a lot of uproar. It's already hard enough for actors of color to find roles in film because 73.4% of characters in movies are white. So when they do finally get a chance to be a role in a film, and that role ends up being casted to a white actor, they have yet another opportunity taken away from them. This also takes away what little representation people of color seem to have in entertainment. You know how many children who are out there who are underrepresented and they don't have a role model like them that they can look up to? This is why movies like Black Panther and Crazy Rich Asians got so much praise, because they featured casts that had more actors of color than white actors, if any at all. Ultimately, it's up to Hollywood to make these decisions. But we should do our best to try and persuade them to be more aware of their choices, from campaigning to signing petitions to just spreading the word so people are aware that this is a very big problem. We should do our best to try and make the definition of whitewashing just to paint a wall, room, or building with whitewash.
My name is Ava Barton, and I'm in 8th grade. My speech is about what net neutrality is and why it's important. And I chose that topic because we live in such a digital age and we're using the internet all the time. And I hope that this speech spreads awareness to the subject. You know when you're trying to watch a video online and it takes forever to load? This is not always because of your bandwidth. It could be because of the lack of net neutrality. Net neutrality is the idea that internet service providers should give us access to all sites and content, regardless of whether it's a big company like Facebook, Google, Amazon, or a small business like Joe Bob's Pizza down the street. Net neutrality was repealed by the FCC, or Federal Communications Commission, on February 22nd of 2018. Although they did not get rid of net neutrality completely, they repealed 3 rules: blocking, throttling, and paid prioritization. This means that our internet service providers, or ISPs, can block any content that they want to. It also allows ISPs to slow the transmission of data or throttle depending on what the content is. Finally, the repeal allows big established corporations to squash small businesses by paying ISPs to promote their sites and have them load faster, while making sites of small businesses load slowly. This means that big companies stay big, and when competition comes their way, they can easily crush it. But hold up, why does the government want to repeal net neutrality? The internet was created as a free, open space to give and receive information. But major corporations have great lobbying power within our government, and often there's a quid pro quo happening. Could that be what's going on here? Maybe. Is getting rid of net neutrality good for the consumer? I'm not sure, but it certainly doesn't sound like it. I guess it all depends on where you sit. Are you board chairman of FCC? Then maybe. Are you a major shareholder of a large cable company? Then yes, definitely. But what if you're a small business owner just trying to get by? Small businesses need to succeed. Not everyone wants to be working for a major corporation. To find out why the FCC is against this, go to fcc.gov. To find out why we should have net neutrality and what you should do to bring it back, go to EFF.org. If you have a strong opinion, please contact your state representative and let them know what you think.
Well, my name is Madison Meinrich, and I'm in 8th grade. My speech is about being kind, and I chose it because I help my mom out with the kids in my family, and a lot of times when we're like at the park, my siblings will be playing with somebody, and then I'll hear somebody say, well, I don't want to play that with you because you're weird, and it makes me feel so bad because it's not very nice. And I see people who are not being very nice, and I wonder what they think, because I think that you should be nice to everyone.
My younger sister went to her violin group lesson, and during the lesson, a boy kept calling her a baby because she didn't know quite as much as he did on the violin. Of course, she was expected to be angry, but my 5-year-old sister only wanted to forgive him. Even at 5 years old, my sister was able to see the importance and value of being kind. Be kind. Putting people down and making them feel worthless is tremendously and immensely wrong, and is a problem, and it needs to be fixed. Be kind. Have you ever thought about the way you treat others or the way you've been treated? All your life, it seems, people have been rude to you. You're furious, irate, seething, and there's a fire crackling inside you, and you can feel it, and you know it's going to be unleashed. If you forgive and be kind, it will be the water that extinguishes the fire, controls it, and sends tranquil peace through you like a flood. Be kind. Why would you be rude if being kind has so many benefits? Being kind can improve your health. Statistics have shown that being kind has a 25% increase of peaceful sleep, a 10% decrease of physical pain, a 19% increase of time spent exercising, and a general increase of energy. Be kind. Kindness is also a remedy for depression. It reduces symptoms by 35% over the course of several weeks. Be kind. I think many people didn't know the benefits of being kind. Well, now you do. Sometimes we need an example to get us started. Upworthy shares stories of people who are changing the world with simple acts of kindness. One example is a story of a pilot who turned the whole plane around to get a woman's child from the airport, even though it wasn't his fault. Be kind. Upworthy is giving us the example we need to get started. Be kind. So now you have no excuse. Be kind. You heard the benefits and the reasons why. So do it. Be kind. It starts with you.
I'm Deja Matthews, and I'm in 8th grade. So my speech is about hair discrimination / racial discrimination because they're kind of related. And I got my subject from a news report about a young man who was in a wrestling match and they forced him to cut his hair. So I did like further research on the topic of hair discrimination, and it happens like a lot, and I haven't heard about it since. That was the first time I've ever like heard anything about it, and I was curious why no one is talking about it, because it's a big deal. So I wrote a speech about it so people would understand.
Imagine you're on your way to school, and it's one of those good days. You're feeling good, you're looking good, everything is perfect. You just got your hair done, and you paid a lot of money for it. Pull up to school, you get out of the car, walk confidently to the door, and open it. But as you're walking to class, an administrator stops you and tells you that you can't be in school today because your hair is inappropriate. How would you feel? What would you say? What would you do? This happens to African Americans all of the time. A situation like this would be called hair discrimination, and it is a big deal, and is mostly aimed toward colored people. Because of hair discrimination, many are losing their jobs and are not getting the education they deserve. For example, last April, a 32-year-old woman from Missouri was given the green light from her boss to wear her natural hair. She had just had a newborn and was ready to let her hair down. But a month later, she was fired because her hair was unprofessional. Now she has to find a new job and can't provide for her new son. Imagine how guilty she feels when nothing is her fault. There are some assets to help improve this problem. For example, New York City banned hair discrimination. So now in New York City you can't get fired because of how your hair looks. But there is still so much to do. Just last December, an African American teenage boy from New Jersey was given the unreasonable choice to either cut his hair and get his team to the championships, or not cut his hair, forfeit the match, and let his entire team down. He got his hair cut in front of everybody in the middle of the match. Imagine being in that situation. You would feel humiliated and pressured. This young man wasn't able to wrestle again until a month later. He felt so ashamed that he couldn't do it. He didn't even feel like he could wrestle in the championship that he won for his team. No one, especially a child, should be asked to make a decision like that. Now that you know of this issue, I hope that you will do as much as you can to stop it. Inform others, speak up if you see any kind of discrimination, and never let anybody tell you you are less because of your lovely locks.
My name is Genevieve Breen, and I'm in 8th grade. My speech is about domestic violence and how guns make it worse. I decided to choose this issue because domestic violence is something that really affects so many people. I've lived in 3 different places in 2 different countries on 2 different continents, and I've seen how friends and neighbors have been affected by this issue. And I've also seen how gun violence has led to so many murders and how it relates to domestic violence. So I really wanted to talk about it and to kind of show people that it really is an issue. When Morgan Rogers' boyfriend beat her over the head with his handgun, he was only convicted of a misdemeanor assault charge. Despite this conviction, he was still able to possess his handgun, shooting Morgan and her 1-year-old daughter in a double homicide. In 2019, about 10 million people will become victims of domestic violence. This is an issue people from all backgrounds suffer from, an epidemic we clearly need to treat. Don't believe me? Just look around you. Women, find 4 others in the room. 1 of you will become a victim of domestic violence. Men, find 8 others. 1 of you will become a victim of domestic violence. And when you add guns to the equation, it's like spreading gasoline on a wildfire. According to the Giffords Law Center, a woman in a domestic violence situation is 5 times more likely to die if her abuser has a firearm. We, as a country, need to reform our laws to protect all victims of domestic violence. We already had the Lautenberg Amendment. This bans convicted domestic abusers from buying or owning guns. However, the Lautenberg Amendment does not include dating partners. This means that if you're just casually dating someone and they're convicted of assaulting you, they could still easily get access to a gun, putting your life in danger. This is known as the Boyfriend Loophole. Now, some states have changed their laws and have banned guns for all domestic abusers, including dating partners. But this loophole is still in the federal laws. We need to close this loophole. Our congressmen and women need to know that we care about this issue, that they must change these laws. Please contact your senators, your representatives. Write to them through letters, through email. Inform them of the seriousness of closing this loophole. If we can extend the gun ban, we could decrease the number of murders happening in our country right now. We need to direct more focus to this issue. We need to extend the gun laws to include all convicted domestic abusers. We need to protect the millions of men and women in our country who are being abused right now, and the millions who will be abused. If not, by next month, 50 more women will have been shot and killed by their partner.